Welcome back, everybody, to Top Tier Studios. This is episode 10. We are finally in the double digits, and what not a better episode than, I guess, to be on a double digit, because at the end of this episode, we're going to be showing the POV for this Ghostbusters Experience ride. I think that's the name I'm going to go for this ride anyway. And then in the next episode, we're going to get back to building another coaster. It's going to be in the same area. It's going to be Ghostbuster themed. It's actually going to use the Ghostbuster roller coaster type that it came with. So that's going to come in the next episode. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And we'll have the POV of this ride at the end of this episode. So hopefully you guys are excited for that, because it's going to be me shooting and trying to get a good score. Because I would say I did pretty well, I guess. I don't know. You guys will have to be the judge of that. I did, something that I did say in the last episode was I made that little signage where it was like the scores and like what you would be if you got this score. I did make that, so we'll see what happens, what score I get and what I am. So anyway, what we're doing in this episode is the final touches for the Ghostbusters ride. So that's going to include making this queue line, and then we're also going to be finishing the building. So in the past couple of episodes, I've been leaving the roof off, and the building isn't really a whole box. It's just the building, the walls that I needed to build the ride. So in this episode, we're going to be doing this front facade that we're working on right now for the queue, and then we'll be moving on and doing the exterior of the building. That's a general basis. So this facade that we're making is pretty simple. It's pretty much what we've been doing on the interior in the past episode, except this one has like see-through windows, and that's for like the guests that are a little bit claustrophobic, since this is a huge cattle pen pretty much. I wanted it to be a little bit open and like where people could get out, like, or see out anyway. So that's kind of the idea here. And I did open the park just on like my free time, just to see how like this ride would run. And I would say, I think with a bunch of more rides open, there would be a lot more people in the park, so that would make the line longer. Now, I only had this ride open, and when I opened it, only the top section of the queue was full. Now, I'm anticipating having, there was only like 500 guests in the park. I'm anticipating having like 5,000. So, I think that will greatly affect the amount of riders in the queue. And it seemed like, it was pretty popular. People liked it. They just didn't want to wait that long, which is understandable, even though the queue was actually only like 24 minutes. So that's basically a little wrap about the queue and kind of operations, how they went. And it is 5 rides, or 5 people per train. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it's able to fit 5. So yeah, as we are starting to kind of wrap up this front entrance here, I also did have to do a little bit of queue manipulation again. It's nothing too big. It's like gonna stay the same pretty much. It's just the entrance into this facade area that I was having trouble with, and you can see right there how the queue isn't actually lined up with the entrance to this building. So I had to do a little bit of touch up there, and it was a little annoying, I will say that, but I got it done, and that's all that matters. And it looks really good in the end. Now, one problem that I was having for like a future episode, like the next episode, is trying to tie in this gap between this whole show building and the padding that we have. There's a gap there, and I don't really know what to do with that. So if you guys have any suggestions, make sure to let me know in the comments. But other than that, I think this ride is pretty much done, and I can say that this is the best dark ride that I've made, because it's one of the most extensive dark rides I've made. So now we're kind of doing a little bit of inside the queue work. This is kind of a lighting issue, I guess, lighting for the queue, and it's also makes it a little bit more realistic, because we're making a platform that this upper queue would be on, which makes a lot more sense to me, just because, you know, it needs something to support the queue and all that. And this will also serve as the rooftop for the station as well. And then on the inside of that queue that wraps around a little bit, I just put up pedestal, and like I think it's Slimer is the guy. I put him on the pedestal just because I needed something to fill that area up, and that was the best I could think of. So we did have to do a little bit of work on the interior just to make sure it would look right. Basically the outside walls are 2 walls high, and with this one area, how it is only 1 wall high, I had to extend it up a little bit. So that's the only difference that I've done from this episode to last episode to this episode. And then the rest of it's just gonna be fixing all of this walls up here, and then we should be done with this episode. We have to put a roof on it, which is pretty easy. It's just copying and pasting pretty much all of this roof all the way back, and that would be pretty much it. So we're getting pretty close to our POV here, and my shooting, I guess, because it's not really that good, but I did what I could, and I'm pretty happy with my score. I think it could have been better, but I got with what I could. So basically this roof is a little bit too tall for, or it's not really too tall, it comes up one more grid piece, I guess, than I wanted it to, but it's necessary because otherwise it would Z-fight through the other wall or other roofs that we have that are needed inside of the actual ride. So what I had to do was raise it up a little bit, and what I'll end up doing is changing the front a little bit. So basically I'll just raise the walls by like half a wall, and that'll be all I need to do. And then you can see this huge roof that's like gonna be like 1,000 pieces at least. Yeah, that's pretty much what we just did there, and that was the really simple part, and we just gotta fix this front. And I'm having a little bit of trouble using the Ghostbusters pack pieces, just because they're not the most extensive amount of same types. Like, you get the different types of bricks, which is awesome, and the different windows and stuff, but you don't get what you like, the half pieces and all that. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up this episode, so hopefully you guys enjoyed, and thank you guys so much for watching. You're gonna go to the POV right now. Peace.